Welcome to the CVIS training for sponsor officials. This training is designed to facilitate your understanding of CVIS in regards to the administration, maintenance, and management of the J1 program information at your organization and your exchange visitor and spouse dependent records. In this presentation, we will discuss creating a record for an exchange visitor with a training internship placement plan. This presentation does not replace the Exchange Visitor Program regulations found in Title 22, Part 62 of the Code of Federal Regulations. For detailed guidance on the Exchange Visitor Program, visit j1visa.state.gov. If you are creating a record for an exchange visitor in the category of intern, trainee, or student intern, instead of going through the regular create process, the system will take you through a series of steps that are required to create a Form DS-7002 along with a Form DS-2019. After entering the non-immigrant's biographical and contact information, you will start creating the Form DS-7002. First, additional participant information is entered. Then the tip overview page will display. From here, at least one site must be added, and each site must have a corresponding phase. When all sites and phases are entered, the phase dates can be reviewed. After all tip information is entered, you will complete the Form DS-2019 by adding spouse and dependents, if applicable, and financial information. The final step is submitting both Forms DS-2019 and DS-7002. Creating an exchange visitor record, along with a tip, starts with filling out the non-immigrant's biographical information. Next is the contact and program information page. The email address and program begin and end dates entered on this page will populate the exchange visitor participant information page. Click the Next button when all required fields have been entered. The exchange visitor participant information page will display. The email address and program dates are populated as entered on the previous page. Additional information is also required. Click the Next button. The tip overview page will display. This is the main page for managing tip information. The first step is adding a site of activity. At least one must be entered. Click the Add Site of Activity link. The Add Edit Form DS-7002 Site of Activity page will display. The site of activity name and address, organization information, and main program supervisor are required. Remarks can also be entered. Dates when the tip was signed by the RO or ARO and the exchange visitor can be entered if known. Click the Add Site of Activity button to return to the tip overview page. The tip overview page will display including the site of activity that was added. Each site of activity must have at least one associated phase. Click the Add Phase link. The Add Edit Tip Phase page will display. The top of the page shows which site of activity the phase will be associated with, its address, and the program dates. Basic information and supervisor details regarding the phase must be entered. The date the phase supervisor signed the form can be entered if known. At the bottom of the Add Edit Tip Phase page, the user must enter phase specifics and knowledge, skills, or techniques to be imparted during this phase. The system allows the user to cut and paste into the fields. Each text box can hold up to 3,000 characters. The countdown feature displays the number of remaining characters. When all phase data is entered, click the Add Phase button. The tip overview page will display showing the phase that was added, including the phase start date, phase end date, and whether all signature dates have been recorded. Pending means that not all signature dates have been entered. When signature dates have been recorded for the RO or ARO, non-immigrant, and the phase supervisor for each phase associated with the site of activity, the system displays complete in the signatures column. The duplicate phase feature allows you to copy information from an existing phase to a new phase. To start the process, click the duplicate link. The duplicate phase window will display. Select a site to associate the duplicated phase to and click the Submit button. The Add Edit Tip Phase page will display with most fields pre-populated with data from the duplicated phase. Enter the necessary phase information and click the Add Phase button. The new phase will be added to the tip overview page. The Form DS7002 can be printed for a single site of activity and its associated phases by clicking the Print Site link. It can also be printed to include all sites and phases by clicking the Print DS7002 link. When all sites and phases have been added, click the Next button. The Tip Review Dates page will display. It shows the dates for all phases and checks whether there is time between the program begin date and program end date that is not covered by a phase. All phase dates across all sites are being combined to determine the date validation. If there are multiple phases, phase dates can overlap. If there are no gaps, the system will display a confirmation message. If there are any gaps, the validation error message will provide the dates of the gaps. In order to proceed, edit the phase dates so there are no gaps, which can be done on the current page. This concludes the tip creation process. To continue creating the Form DS 2019, click the Next button. The Spouse Dependents menu page displays. If the exchange visitor will be accompanied by a spouse and/or dependents, click the Add Spouse Dependent button. To go to the final page, click the Next button. The financial information page will display. Enter all funding sources and click the Submit DS 2019 button. The Create Successful page will display. Forms DS 2019 and DS 7002 have been created. Both forms can now be printed. Thank you for watching. For more information and other training videos, visit the j1visa.state.gov website.